Focus on yourself until you succeed. Stoic philosophy in the age of social media. Have you ever felt like the world doesn't see your efforts? Every day you try, you wake up early, you do things right, you stay focused, you live kindly, and still nothing seems to move forward. You look around and see others being praised, celebrated, and succeeding. And you're still there, standing still, as if the world doesn't even notice your existence. Worse than that, you start doubting yourself. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm on the wrong path. Maybe I should just stop. If you've ever felt that way, this video is for you, but not to comfort you, to awaken you. If you're tired of pretending to be strong, if you're carrying a life that no one truly understands, if you're quietly trying to hold it all together, in a world of constant noise, judgment, and scrolling chaos, then pause. This isn't another 5-minute motivational fix. This is a roadmap for those who are done faking strength and ready to take back control of themselves. I used to be you, and I know exactly how that pain feels. I used to live for other people's approval. I used to post things on Facebook to get likes. I used to work, not because I loved what I was doing, but because I needed to prove that I mattered. And then one day I realized, no one can give you proper validation if you still doubt yourself. No one can heal you if you keep living for the gaze of others. So I turned inward, not by giving up, but by digging deep. I found Stoic philosophy, not in books, but in the moments I broke down, I got back up and repeated that cycle hundreds of times. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Don't waste time arguing about what a good man should be one." I read that quote while I was struggling through a failed project. Instead of venting online, instead of searching for sympathy, I asked myself, what would I do right now if I were firm? And I started acting as if I had the strength within me. I began focusing on what I could control instead of complaining about what I couldn't change. I didn't become perfect, but I became real. I stopped running to be seen and started growing in silence. What about you? Are you living in the constant noise of social media? Are you losing yourself just to be recognized? Are you trying to look strong while quietly breaking inside? If so, keep walking this path with me. I won't tell you that everything will be okay, but I will show you how to make it okay from within. In the next part, we'll begin with the one thing everyone is losing today: focus, in a world full of distractions. 1. Focus in the age of distraction. It's not that you lack talent, you just haven't stayed focused long enough to unlock it. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another piece of advice. You need is stillness so your mind can return to itself. Why? Because in today's world, distraction is no longer a risk. It's the norm. You open your phone to check the time. 40 minutes later, you're still scrolling TikTok. You sit down to write a creative idea. But I ended up clicking on a video titled 10 Ways to Get Rich Fast. You try to work. But Facebook, emails, and YouTube tabs quietly open like reflexes. That's not your fault. It's the design of this world, a world programmed to capture your attention, then sell it. If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. It's an old quote, but more true now than ever. So what's happening? You're being fragmented. Your mind has become an all-night shop with no guard at the door. Each notification, each short video, each meaningless chat is another thief sneaking in and stealing a piece of your focus. And then you wonder why you feel exhausted, unmotivated, and lost. It's because you're no longer in your own body. You're living inside other people's minds through comments, likes, messages, metrics. Marcus Aurelius once warned, ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? In Stoic philosophy, focus is not just a skill, it's a virtue. Not just the ability to work, but also the ability to live deeply in the present. A focused mind is a free mind. Focus is not about trying not to be distracted. Focus is about knowing what's truly worthy of your attention. You can't take control of your life if you can't control where your mind looks and lingers each day. Stoic tool, the focus matrix. Dividing a blank sheet of paper into 4 simple squares is like a fundamental matrix. The horizontal axis represents value, high or low. The vertical axis represents addictiveness, low or high. Now, start categorizing. This is your top priority zone, If an activity provides high value and is less addictive, like reading philosophy, journaling, or meditating, you should invest the most time daily in this golden zone. If an activity is of high value but also highly addictive, such as watching educational YouTube videos or reading in-depth articles that spiral into unrelated content, be on high alert. These can be beneficial, but without boundaries, they'll steal the time you should spend on real action. If an activity is low value and addictive, like scrolling through your feed to see what your friends eat or checking general news, it's fine in moderation. Consider it a quick break, but don't let it dominate your mental space. Finally, there's the danger zone. Activities that are low in value and highly addictive. These include short entertainment clips, drama content, or never-ending news cycles. They're like refined sugar, sweet at first but scramble your nervous system over time. You don't have to cut everything out, but you do need to know what truly deserves your attention. The focus matrix isn't here to make you robotic. It's here to help you reclaim sovereignty over your mind, something the Stoics always emphasized. Your mind is your greatest asset. Don't let it leak energy every day. Focus is a muscle. You must train it. First 25 minutes of the day, no phone, no music, just one task. Pomodoro rule, 25 minutes of deep work, 5-minute break. Repeat. Distraction journal. Every time you get distracted, write it down. Analyze the cause. Just like in battle, you don't need to win the whole day. You only need to win each hour. Stoic question for every morning. If today were the last day of my life, where would I focus? Marcus Aurelius. Don't let life slip by in unconscious motion. Don't let fragments of random information define your worth. You don't need to know more. You need to stay longer with what's right. And when you finally focus, you'll realize something powerful. You were never weak. You just never put your energy in the right place long enough. Focus is the beginning of all transformation. Without focus, there's no clarity. Without clarity, there's no meaningful action. Without action, there's no real result. And as you begin to restore your attention, your energy returns, your inspiration returns, and your authentic self returns. In the next section, now that you've reclaimed your focus, you'll need the one thing that keeps you grounded on this path, even when no one is watching. 2. Discipline, the silent foundation of freedom. You don't need motivation, you need discipline. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The hard truth, we've become addicted to waiting for inspiration to start anything. We wait to feel excited before we exercise. We wait to be in the mood before learning a new skill. We wait until we feel ready, and then a month, a year, a decade goes by, but the excitement never grows big enough, and discipline stays a stranger. Discipline doesn't come from motivation. It comes from quiet commitment. Discipline begins with a small promise to yourself. No fanfare, no public declaration, just this. I said I would do it, so I will, even if no one sees me. It's setting your alarm for 5:30 a.m., opening your eyes when it rings, and not negotiating with yourself. It's going to the gym on a rainy day, not because you love it, but because you gave your word. Small actions build inner trust. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you're building an internal fortress of trust. And the opposite is also true. You slowly erode your belief in yourself every time you break that promise. That's why the most disciplined people don't talk much. They move in silence. Because what matters most is not whether others believe in you, but whether you believe in yourself. Stoic philosophy, self-control is the highest form of freedom. Epictetus, an enslaved person turned philosopher, knew this deeply. He once said, "Freedom is not achieved by satisfying your desires, but by removing your desire to be controlled by things you can't command. And the first thing you must learn to control is yourself, your emotions, your habits, your thoughts. If you don't have the discipline to direct them, they'll end up directing you." Practice, build a daily discipline ritual. You don't need big wins. You need a repeating rhythm, a quiet ritual of living right. Try this. Morning, wake up on time, splash cold water on your face, and write down 3 key tasks. Strong people don't need to show off. Discipline doesn't need a stage. Discipline doesn't need an audience. Discipline is your silent companion, always present, even when no one notices. When others are sleeping, you're working. When others complain, you recalibrate. When others quit, you stay the course. You don't need discipline to prove anything to the world. You need discipline to keep your promises to yourself. Ask yourself, if the world never saw my effort, would I still keep going? If you answer yes, you've understood discipline's most profound essence. Focus opens the path. Discipline keeps you on it. And when you have both, you're ready to master any journey. In the next section, we're diving even deeper. Self-mastery. Stop blaming, start owning your life. Are you ready? Because this part will be the most brutally honest yet. 3. Self-mastery. Stop blaming, start owning your life. Blame is easy. Ownership is hard. But freedom begins when blame ends. There's a hard truth that most people avoid, but it's the first step toward liberation. No one is coming to save you. Nothing and no one will magically change your life unless you stand up and take full responsibility. Life is unfair, but that's not an excuse to give up. Maybe you were born into poverty. Maybe you were betrayed, overlooked, or had your dreams crushed. Perhaps you've worked so hard and life still hasn't given back. But blaming your circumstances, people, or society won't make life easier. It only makes you weaker. Stoicism calls this ownership. You can't control what happens, but you can always control how you respond. Epictetus once taught, "It's not what happens to you that hurts, it's how you interpret it." A Stoic doesn't blame. They turn inward and ask, what role did I play in this? What can I do to change what I see as unfair? They're not passive. They don't fake positivity. They are radically honest and choose to respond with inner strength. Stoic practice. Rewrite your blame story. Take a piece of paper. Write down something you've been blaming. I don't have time because of work. I'm not wealthy because my family didn't support me. I lack motivation because people don't understand me. Now rewrite it. What can I do despite this? Examples. I don't have time. Can I wake up 30 minutes earlier? No support. Can I find a mentor, read books, or learn online? Not understood. Can I create space to understand myself? When you take responsibility, you reclaim power. Only when you own it can you change it, saying, I am this way because of others. Hand over your life steering wheel. But saying, I let this happen, and now I choose differently, puts you back in control. Self-mastery doesn't mean emotionlessness. Don't get it twisted. Stoics aren't robots. They still feel, but they don't react impulsively. They stand in the middle of anger without being consumed by it. They stand in the middle of criticism without being shaken. They stand in the middle of chaos while keeping their reason intact. Why? Because they don't give others power over their minds. Train your self-mastery daily. Whenever angry, count from 1 to 10, then respond. When someone says something upsetting, write it down, but respond after 24 hours. Every evening, write down one moment you stayed calm, even under stress. Self-mastery is a journey, not a destination. There will still be days you fail. You'll get angry. You'll be impulsive. You'll lose control. But the difference is, you know you're training, and you return to your center faster than before. The key question, am I reacting or am I responding? The answer will show you whether you're living unconsciously or with intention. Self-mastery is the great pivot. From someone ruled by emotion to someone who guides emotion. From a victim of circumstances to a creator of your life. When you combine focus, discipline, and self-mastery, you don't just change your behavior. You change your identity. You're no longer someone trying to improve. You've become someone living by chosen values. And once you truly master yourself, you no longer need to prove anything. Your life becomes the loudest proof. In the next section, we'll enter a very special space, a space few people dare to stay in. Silence, and why being unknown is the perfect armor for growth. Living in silence, the power of being unknown. You don't need recognition, you need not quit on yourself. Marcus Aurelius didn't write Meditations for fame, he wrote it to survive, spiritually. We live in an era where everything must be shared, every progress must be acknowledged, and every effort waits for a like or a round of applause. But have you ever asked yourself, if no one saw your effort, would you still keep going? Silence is sacred ground for growth. The most significant transformations in life happen quietly. An athlete training at dawn while the city sleeps. A writer working on their first book before anyone knows their name. An ordinary person starting to change their life without applause, without a spotlight. Silence is not weakness. It's power unannounced. Stoicism teaches us to do what is right even when no one is watching. Not because we reject recognition, but because we don't depend on it. Seneca once said, "Be like a solid rock against which the waves crash and it does not move." That is the Stoic ideal. Someone who grows quietly, yet unshakably. Being unknown is a shield that protects your focus. When you're not trying to impress, you preserve your inner energy. You're not distracted by what will people think. You're not molding yourself to please the crowd. You're free to focus on what truly matters, becoming the better version of yourself day by day. Practice the silent journal. Each day, spend 5 quiet minutes writing down 3 things you did right, 1 thing you're grateful for, 1 choice you're proud of making. No sharing, no posting online, just for you, to witness your progress. This is how Stoics train their inner world. Silence doesn't mean stillness. Silence means you're going far, without needing to announce it. Why is solitude necessary? Some paths can only be walked alone. Not because others don't care to join you, but because the journey is designed for just one. It's like forging a sword. It requires fire, hammer time, and the quiet endurance of pain. If a sword could speak, it would scream. But once it's complete, it stays silent and razor sharp. Silence doesn't mean isolation. You can still love, connect, communicate, but the deepest decisions must be made in silence. No one can hand you the answers to your path, and sometimes the noise around you drowns out your voice. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Go within. If you only look, there is a fountain of goodness ready to flow." Silence allows you to hear yourself. When you stop sharing everything outward, you begin to listen to what's going on inside. You stop asking, "What do they think of me?" and start asking, "What do I think of myself?" That is the moment you become fully yourself. A Stoic question for each night. Am I living in line with what I value, even if no one sees it? If your answer is yes, then you're living in a way Marcus and Seneca would be proud of. The link between silence and strength. Bamboo spends 5 years growing roots unseen, but once deep enough, it shoots skyward in weeks into a forest. So do you. Every day that no one acknowledges your effort, it's a day you're deepening your roots. And when the time comes, you won't need to shout, "I'm ready." The world will see you are the product of relentless silence. Silence isn't for the weak. It is the weapon of those who know exactly what they're doing. In the next section, we'll talk about what keeps you going, even when there's no reward, no spotlight, no applause. Faith in the process, not just the outcome. Faith in the process, not the outcome. The process never betrays you. There's a harsh truth nobody wants to hear. You can do everything right and still not get the result. You can wake up early, train, work hard, stay disciplined, and there's no applause, no money in your account, no doors opening. And this is the crossroads. One path is giving up, and the other is the process. The process is what you control, the outcome, you don't. Stoicism doesn't promise success. It doesn't say, if you do the right thing, you'll be rewarded. It says only one thing, do the right thing, regardless of the result. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Do your duty with seriousness, dignity, and no expectation of any reward beyond the act itself." The story of the Chinese bamboo, a lesson in faith. Nothing grows when the Chinese bamboo is planted. Nothing grows for the first 5 years. Even if you water, nourish, and fertilize, it remains silent. Then in the 6th year, it shoots up 30 meters in just a few weeks. The world sees that success and marvels at it. But the bamboo grower knows that the 5 years of root development underground matter most. You're the same. When you persist in doing the right thing, you're growing roots. Every time you don't quit despite exhaustion, you dig a little deeper. Every morning, you wake up early, Though no one notices, you anchor yourself deeper. Every day you keep promises to yourself, you strengthen that silent inner power. And when you rise, the world calls it overnight success. But you know the long, unseen process. Stoic faith is not based on results, but on the value of action. Epictetus once taught, focus on becoming trustworthy rather than expecting trust from others. You don't act to be recognized, you act because it's the person you want to become. You don't wait for results to prove your worth. Right action is the proof. Daily Stoic practice. Am I making progress even if no one sees it? If you answer yes, you're on the right path. Each night write down one thing you did despite lacking motivation. One action you completed even though no one cared. One slight improvement that only you noticed. This is how you build trust with yourself. Results may come or not, but the process always leaves something within you. Faith, discipline, inner strength, honor, these are invisible rewards, but they never fade. When you fall in love with the process, failure no longer scares you, because failure only happens when you stop. But if you keep training and persisting, you are already winning. You're winning yourself every single day, and there is no greater victory than that. Seneca once wrote, "We learn not for the sake of displaying knowledge, but to apply it." Action, repeated action, is the core of the philosophy. You don't need to be the best, the fastest, or the most impressive. You need to be the one who never abandons the process. The Stoic doesn't care who is watching. They care only about one thing. Did I live my ideals today? And if you're still walking quietly, consistently, if no one notices, smile, because you are cultivating a result far deeper than any spotlight could ever reach. In the next part, we'll dive into the final aspect and where Stoic philosophy shines brightest, recovery after the silent falls, where you learn falling is not failure, staying down is. 6. Recovery after the silent falls. Falling isn't failure, staying down is. Stoicism doesn't teach you to be stubborn, it teaches you to be resilient. There's a special kind of collapse, quiet, tearless, with nothing visibly broken. It arrives on silent nights, when you lie in bed staring at the ceiling, asking, do I still have the strength to keep going? It's the kind of breakdown no one sees. You still go to work, you still smile, you still say, I'm fine, when someone asks. But inside, you're falling apart, piece by piece. A silent fall is a pain without witnesses. You can't post a status saying, I'm exhausted, because you're the strong one in everyone's eyes. You're the pillar, the rock, the one who never breaks. And that's why, when you do fall, it feels heavier than the truth itself, because it comes with guilt, loneliness, and the crushing thought, I'm weak. Stoicism doesn't ask you to pretend you're strong. It teaches you to recover the right way. Marcus Aurelius once confessed in Meditations, there are times when I feel I can't bear it anymore, but I remind myself, this task was made for me. If not me, then who? And if not now, then when? That's not a denial of exhaustion. It's facing it without letting it define you. Recovery isn't returning to where you started. It's returning with deeper strength, greater understanding, and fiercer compassion. The Stoic doesn't see failure as the end, but as a natural part of the process. Seneca once wrote, falling often doesn't shake me, because I've learned how to rise better, faster, and with less pain. Every fall is a personal test. When you're down, you see clearly. Who truly stands by you? What remains essential within you? And whether you genuinely believe in the path you've chosen. Stoic action. Build your personal recovery bank. Write down 5 moments when you thought, I can't get through this, but you did. They could be a bitter failure, a devastating emotional shock, a long stretch of emptiness. Write in detail how you made it through, then save it. And every time you feel like giving up, read it. That's your recovery bank, where you deposit proof that I've fallen before, and I've risen. The strength of recovery doesn't lie in speed. No one asks you to get up quickly. Getting up the right way is what truly matters. It's not about forcing yourself to deny your emotions. It's about accepting them and then acting with reason. A Stoic question to ask yourself whenever you fall: if Marcus or Epictetus were in my place right now, what would they do? You don't need to become exactly like them, but you can borrow their mental strength, just enough to help you rise again. Recovery is the art of beginning again with calmness. Imagine you're a potter. The vase you've spent a month crafting shatters. You could get angry, blame, quit, or you could, quietly, gather the pieces and start again. And this time you know every curve, every weak point. The new vase isn't a replacement, it's a refined version because you've broken it before. Conclusion of this part. Fatigue doesn't make you weak. It makes you human and stronger. Falling doesn't make you a failure. Staying down, that's a failure. Recovery is not about pretending to be strong, but about being honest with yourself and continuing the journey. The more you learn to recover from silent collapses, the more unbreakable you become. And there is no triumph greater than the return of a soul that has shattered, but still chooses to continue. In the final part, we'll reflect on the entire journey and extract the ultimate Stoic lesson. Victory does not come from one shining moment. It comes from hundreds of quiet mornings you chose not to quit. And this is also where we act, to share this strength with those who need it most. Final reflection, the last lesson on the Stoic path. Maybe you've asked yourself, maybe I'm not good enough to succeed. Maybe I'm on the wrong path because I haven't seen results. But if you've come this far with me, you'll begin to realize you're not wrong. You're just living in an age where noise is glorified and silent effort is forgotten. Together, we've walked through 6 core pillars of focusing on yourself until you succeed, in the spirit of modern Stoicism. Here are the 6 key lessons to carry forward. 1. Focus in the age of distraction. You don't lack ability, your attention has been stolen. The Stoic asks, is this truly necessary? Focus is the foundation for finding yourself in a lost world. 2. Discipline, the silent foundation of freedom. No one can be truly free if they can't govern themselves. Discipline begins with small promises and grows into an unshakable inner force. 3. Self-control, stop blaming, start leading your life. Don't search for someone to blame, instead ask, what can I do with what I have? Only when you take full ownership do you gain true freedom. 4. Living in silence, the power of anonymity. No one needs to know you're growing, except you. In silence, you forge your blade. In quiet, you lay your foundation. 5. Faith, in the process, not the outcome. You cannot control the result, but you can control your effort. Doing the right thing consistently without waiting for applause. That is how you forge yourself into steel. 6. Recovery after the silent falls. Falling doesn't make you weak, it's a necessary part of the journey. Stoicism doesn't promise you won't hurt, it simply teaches you how to return to yourself after every fracture. The final lesson. Victory doesn't come from one shining moment, but from hundreds of quiet mornings you refuse to give up. You won't change overnight, you won't be recognized immediately, but if you stay focused long enough, you'll surpass the talented. If you stay disciplined long enough, you'll outlast the fast. You don't have to become great. You have to never give up on what's right. From philosophy to action. Stoicism is not something to reflect on and forget. It's a daily compass for living. It's the way you sit up straight after collapsing, inhale deeply and continue the unfinished plan. Step outside each morning with silent strength. You may not see results today, but trust this. You're building something far greater each day. Not fame, not wealth, but a version of yourself that doesn't break easily. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. And perhaps you're also enduring the quiet journey of your own life. Because maybe tomorrow you still won't make it. But in this very moment, you're becoming the person who will. If this video touched you, I'm certain there's someone out there, just like you, quietly fighting daily. No one knows them, no one applauds them, yet still they walk forward in silence. Share this video as a gift for them, because a small act from you might be the very first light that leads them out of the darkness. And if you're on the path of building discipline, recovering from setbacks, and living in alignment with your inner strength, then Sovereign Stoic is your place. No noise, no fluff, just calm reminders to help you stand stronger each day. Subscribe to Sovereign Stoic today, so every morning you wake up isn't just the start of another day, but the continuation of a worthy journey. Because true victory doesn't come from explosions. It comes from the silent persistence of the one who never quits. This journey is not lonely. We're walking it together, quietly but powerfully. See you in the following video.